there we go. Just like we said, all it takes is one head sometimes. And yeah, sometimes you don't even need to knock out the Charizard. You just knock out attack around it. But again, Charizard EX has proven time and time again, it's a powerful Pokemon, as I believe we do have Evan starting us off here. I believe, not the most explosive start here, as Evan just attaches energy for turn onto the Galarian Moltres and a pass, as Joe just fences Charmander and pass.
Yeah, I don't know if this is Pokemon the way it's supposed to be played most of the time.
We're attaching cards to Pokemon. That's
one card.
Yeah, it's just
we're finding some bench. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Professor Research discarding 3 Dark Patch, a Pokemon Catcher, and that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Dark Patches are tough, but again, we do have the Galarian Moltres with the Dire Flame Wings ability. That's a Dark Patch on a Pokemon, and then you just have to depend on those energy switches. And of course, we do play a lot of ways to attach energy, like the Professor Sada's Vitality. But in Evan Campbell's build, which is similar to something like Ross Coughlin played in Charlotte, they're only playing 2. As let's see if they have an attack here. They do have the Earthen Vessel discarding the energy. That means we can Dire Flame Wings onto that Moltres potentially and just attach. And that's a very clean attack into a Pidgey, the lone Pidgey, mind you.
Yeah, getting rid of the ability for Joe to get a Pidgeot EX in play is definitely going to be very important here. And we see that Dire Flame Wings with the energy attachment. Evan having 2 Roaring Moon is also pretty good just because you can Sada's next turn onto them if you have it. But Joe's praying to the Lord and finds the Arven. Arceus prevails here.
Arven, very powerful card here, able to find themselves any item card plus a tool. And just like that, it could be just a rare candy, maybe for a Seal Stone. But, you know, it is just one item. What do we have in hand? We have a rare candy, so if does find us something like an Ultra Ball and does get us a Charizard. And sometimes all it takes is one Charizard to really clean up a match, but not against Roaring Moon. We'll have to see here. Again, Ultra Ball is all we can find is a Charizard. If we had the Pidgeot still in play, that probably would be a little bit more ideal, as we are going to play the Ultra Ball. Wouldn't be surprised to maybe see something like the Luminion instead, because after this, our hand isn't the greatest. We make prep a supporter in hand, attach the forward Seal Stone. No, we're going straight into that Charizard EX. Very, very powerful card again, with the Infernal Rain ability, able to attach 3 energy cards from 3 basic fire energy cards from the deck, and Burning Darkness, of course. Right now, doing 210 damage, which is more than enough. Well,
again, just barely. It does take the knockout on that Galarian Moltres V, but Joe's going to have to do a lot of work to try and get a good turn next turn, because if Evan has the cards available, meaning the last Dark Patch, Professor Sada's Vitality, he can get a Frenzied Gouging out and take a knockout on this Charizard EX.
Oh, for sure. I don't think it's the hardest thing to put together, even without 3 Dark Patches. Again, there's still the energy switches. We do see the last Dark Patch in hand, though, but I don't see the Seda, as we're going to go ahead and draw for turn. What's the draw? Radiant Greninja is not too bad. That's a way to get energies into the discard pile, but more importantly, draw 2 cards. There's only 1 energy in hand, however. I do see an Iono, a Judge. These aren't the cards that accelerate energy. It's still possible, though. We can Dark Patch, attach energy, Dire Flame Wings, energy switch. A lot of cards are live. It has to be right now. We can't let this Charizard get a back-to-back attack special. Oh, technically, if it does attack now, it doesn't take a knockout on Roaring Moon, so it wouldn't be the end of the world, as we do see the Dark Patch played and the energy attachment. It might just have to be either Iono or Judge. Looks like it is going to be that Iono getting that 1 extra card. 5 cards, Jeremy. Energy switch. That's all we're looking for, right?
Well, we're looking for some other cards, too. You know, you need to get stuff set up.
No, we're just thinking of the next turn. There's a giant Charizard EX staring us in at the face here. Is that an energy switch?
Energy switch, but no switch. So that means no attack from
We still have
Campbell
concealed
here.
cards.
Oh, we do still have concealed cards.
Concealed cards draws 2. Palpad.
Earthen Vessel. Those cards are not going to do it. So now both players going to be taking a step back a little bit. Evan's going to try to get stuff set up. Joe will have the Charizard still in play, can attack, but won't be able to take a knockout, and will have to try to get more semblance of a setup here. Maybe another Pidgey, another Charizard in play. A Charmander with another energy can take a knockout on a Frenzied Gouging Roaring Moon. And
Radiant Charizard, though, very, very big card. It's an easy, hey, you know what? I'm just going to put this down, attach one energy. I have 250 damage. Later down the line as they go ahead and play Iona here as well. Again, right now, don't have a knockout on anything. Evan should be pretty safe this turn. Safe as safe can be, taking 210.
Iona.
You get a Charmeleon. That's something.
It's something, but it's close to nothing. So Joe has the availability to just get the damage on the Roaring Moon. That means it'll shut off Frenzied Gouging, at least from this active one. But he's still going to be in a lot of trouble, and both of these bench Pokemon are going to require another energy to be able to take a knockout next turn on a Roaring Moon that used Frenzied Gouging.
All right, we do see the Jelly. We do have the Switch
the
card now.
Jelly's huge.
Is that a Switch card, or was that the Energy Switch? But in any case, let's see here. We're going to go ahead and conceal cards, draw 2 cards. Forest Seal Stone is big. That's anything we want. So it's almost guaranteed that we're going to go ahead and Frenzy Gouging here. And we have the energy in hand. Look, there's the Emergency Jelly. I do believe that was an Energy Switch. Yeah. So that is another way of powering up the Roaring Moon, moving it from the Galarian Moltres V, since it can power itself up with Dire Flame Wings, into that Roaring Moon. And just like that, I think that's a Switch card? No, it's a Pokemon Catcher.
And then the Energy Switch. You don't need the Energy Switch, or play the Energy Switch now, and then Dire Flame Wings, and you're going to have to Star Alchemy for a way to get out of the active spot here.
Sometimes you just got to do it. You just got to Star Alchemy for that Switch card. Hey, you're healing 30 damage as well from that Roaring Moon. I'm not sure if that's significant damage, but 30 damage is something. And more importantly, getting the Roaring Moon with 3 energies into the active. Let's see here.
Yeah, it's going to be a big Frenzied Gouging from this Roaring Moon. It's going to trigger the Emergency Jelly to heal off the 120 damage, and it's going to force Joe to promote this Radiant Charizard and hope to draw a Fire Energy, I believe, because Excited Heart's going to reduce the attack by 3, meaning 2 for this Combustion Blast. The thing is, Joe's only playing 6 Fire Energy in this Charizard list. We've seen this popularized by Azul Garcia Griego, playing 6 Fire Energies, 2 Super Rod. A lot of players have opted to do just that, and this is the one spot where it's honestly very bad.
Yeah. There's a lot of live cards here, though, for Joe. Again, you could also top deck into Charizard EX, because that does find them the energy, but didn't quite see what the grab was there.
Is it a Super Rod?
Might be a Super Rod. Looks like he is moving the energies from the discard pile, plus that Charizard EX. It is going to be the Super Rod.
Ooh, that's rough. That means there's no attack from Joe this turn. Having just 2 Battle VIP Pass and a Rare Candy in hand, none of those cards can be played. And this is the thing with both of these decks, but more specifically this Charizard deck. If they don't get to use this Battle VIP Pass early, it's a struggle to get set up.
Oh, for sure, especially when you don't have the Pidgeot EX in play, as Forest Seal Stone goes onto the Morpeko. Not really going to be able to use reading. That. For sure, as Ultra Ball is going to be played here. Curious what else they can find. Maybe Mew EX, great card. Able to draw a couple more cards there if they go down to less than 3. But right now, I believe Evan has everything they need in hand, because all they need really is that Pokestop. They could go for the Pokemon Catcher here to knock out the Charmeleon before it turns into Charizard, but that does activate Radiant Charizard. So I would love to see just a knockout here on the Radiant Charizard, but we'll have to see. Again, I think Evan, again, hasn't used any of those abilities till now.
Well, so it really comes down to what you're afraid of, right? If a Charizard EX comes down, that's probably going to be the scariest thing, just because you're going to need to set up another Roaring Moon to Frenzied Gouging and take the knockout. And if that happens, the only one in play is 180 damage. So it's going to be a double knockout, and then we just go on to the next game. It's essentially a tie.
Actually, you know what? You're right. I think I would have preferred to see the catcher then in this position, because you do knock out the Charmeleon, and the only response is Radiant Charizard, which you do have the Moltres V potentially to respond to. But again, I do believe we did see the Ultra Ball discarding the Pokemon catcher there.
Now, Evan still can maybe even retreat to the Galarian Moltres V, take the knockout with that, but it's still looking pretty good, and Joe still needs to just top deck something next turn.
Top deck, a Charizard EX, or an Ultra Ball. I think that should
Ultra
work.
Ball probably be better, maybe even Arven, just so you can get a couple more cards out of the deck, discard those Battle VIP Pass in hand.
No, definitely. A lot of live cards here, a lot of live cards for Joe, but...
Oh, there's also the Boss's Orders in hand for Evan.
Cool.
But yeah, there's just the Calamity Storm taking the knockout, getting rid of Pokestop. Charizard EX off the top.
Let's see here.
I think it's his only hope here.
Charizard EX counter
Oh.
catcher is a hope. You know what?
Is it?
It's a way to stall. if you can stall, there's hope. Again, counter catcher can be played only if you're behind on prize cards. And yeah, there it is. Joe bossing up. The Roaring Moon has to find the switch. Nope, there's the escape rope.
Yep. And
There we
with
go.
that, Evan Campbell winning game 1 against a tough matchup in Charizard with his Roaring Moon EX deck.
Again, who needs dark patches, right?
Yeah, just one of them. That's all you need.
All we need is that one. All we need really is to put in that pressure. And if there's any that can do that, it's that Roaring Moon deck. And taking that key knockout on that Pidgey very early on. And you have to think, too, I believe Joe probably won the coin flip in this position, right? Because as Charizard EX,
Yeah.
don't you want to go second?
Both of these decks want to go
Yes.
second, honestly. And just the pop-off of the Arven with the just unplayable hand, getting that Charizard EX, able to take the return KO on that Galarian Moltres V, but not having any access to Pidgeot EX, not having any access to any other supporter. Both of these players had a very awkward turn 1, but Evan was able to overcome just that and clean up the board with not much resistance from Joe.
Yeah, Joe here just over the moon, definitely, after taking that first
Oh, I'd be
game.
over it for sure, yeah.
No, yeah. Oh, no, sorry, Evan's over the moon.
No, Joe's over it. Like, I'm so
Yeah,
over
Joe's
that moon.
over that moon. Got it. But yes, here we go. Game 2, both players here just having a good time at the Knoxville Regional Championships. And again, you mentioned it earlier, Charizard EX should be favored in this matchup. I can definitely see that. You know, the way the board is looking out, if Charizard gets the optimal Charizard turns, it seems tough, you know. Being able to really take easy knockouts on Roaring Moon, and you have the Radiant Charizard, more importantly, since it is a single prize attacker. But again, Roaring Moon just showing its stuff here, where it's just a very powerful deck and a very fast deck, despite having one of the more awkward starts, as we do see the prizes here. A Rare Candy, Charizard, Charmeleon, Pidgey, couple of lines there prize. Very important prize here for Evan, though, is that Radiant Greninja. Again, Evan does really rely on Pokemon abilities to be able to draw, like the Squawkabilly and the Radiant Greninja, to really fill up the hand. As right now, all we see is the Galarian Moltres V, very similar to the first game, but pair that with the Earthen Vessel, discarding an energy to get even more energy, should at least guarantee that Evan sees 2 energies this turn, Dire Flame Wings plus the attachment for turn. But again, we want to see more. As Roaring Moon, we want to see more draws. And as we again, 2 energies in hand, Iono, Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball could guarantee at least the Squawk.
Yeah, that is something we didn't see in the game 1, with both of the players not having a very optimal turn 1, just, you know, pass. But Squawkabilly EX is definitely a card that helps accelerate this deck, and 2 ways, getting energy in the discard and drawing some extra cards.
Definitely, and good sequencing there from Evan. Again, discarding the supporter, but has a Palpad in hand. Since we're losing the hand anyway, might as well make you the most use out of it, getting that Iono placed back into the deck. And again, we should be preparing for a Squawk and seize. Discard your hand, draw, and draw 6 cards, 36 fresh cards. Does have the escape rope as well, could opt to use that. Squawk does have 1 retreat, but Galarian Moltres does have the ability to reattach energy. So probably it's safer to keep that Galarian Moltres in the active. Evan draws here. Battle VIP. Great card.
That's where you want it to be in this turn 1 of game 2, especially up game 1. You need everything you can against a matchup like this Charizard EX deck. And Evan, as a player, does have a regional second place finish, but quite a few years ago, 5 years ago, and then has placed in top 16s, top 32s, but recently has been struggling a little bit. Only has a top 256 in Charlotte, and then before that, just top 64 in Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, Joe has been on kind of a heater a little bit. He is coming off a 13th place in Charlotte Regionals and then a top 64 in Portland. Both of those were with Arceus V-Star, though, with that Regigigas V-Star. And it is interesting to see him switch off of that into Charizard for this tournament.
Definitely. I think that's a big change there from Arceus V-Star to Charizard EX. Just maybe thinking, you know what, let's play the meta. Let's play the best deck in format. As we do see back to the game here, Evan just going for the Dark Patch on the Roaring Moon, attachment on that Glaring Moltres, just like that. Again, Jeremy, this is the first turn of the game, and there's 3 energies on board, but something of note, nothing else in the hand. Gonna have to depend on that Mew EX to refill here. Does get a playable card for the next turn at the very least, but really seeing how important that Radiant Greninja could have possibly been for Evan's board. As we move it on back to Joe, do we see an Arven? That's always what you want to see.
That's step 1 for this Charizard deck, and we do see a Charmander and a Rotom V hit the bench, but I don't see an Arven. Maybe this is a boss's orders to try to bring up a Roaring Moon and stall for a little bit here. Now, Evan did hold on to Energy Switch, so this could be a pretty big turn 2 for Evan if he can try to target down that Charmander.
Jeremy, is it catcher time?
It might be. There's none in hand, so
there's a way
Evan's
to draw.
Gonna have to put in a lot of work, but drawing that Professor Sada's Vitality is going to do just that. Able to charge up both these Roaring Moons, and with an energy attachment from hand and the Energy Switch, this active one can start attacking right now.
Yeah, more importantly, you're going to thin out the hand as well. You're going to use the Earthen Vessel, get 1 energy card, attach that, use the Energy Switch, use the Mew to refill the hand to 3, then use the Seda. That's a lot of cards you're seeing. And again, catcher could be the world here. All it takes is 1 head to swing a game. Sometimes you need to play these power supporters like the Seda, but would also love to get that early gust effect. And again, taking down that lone Charmander would put Evan in an absolutely amazing position. We do see the energy attachment, energy switch there onto the Roaring Moon. Here we go.
Restart here from the Mew, 2 cards.
2 cards, nothing too useful there. It does have the switch card, energy, great cards. Worst case scenario, are we gonna have to gouge a Radiant Charizard? That doesn't feel too good, so would love to at least see a stadium here. For Sealstone,
Pokemon Catcher. All right, both of those cards can mean just a Pokemon Catcher heads. Now, Pokemon Catcher, this is going to be a big one here. If Evan flips heads, this is basically game over.
Oh, it's tails. What do you do here, though, as Evan? You use the Forest Sealstone to get a Pokestop, right? At least the Pokestop.
Pokestop? Yeah, so you can Calamity Storm. Oh, yeah,
so you can Calamity Storm. And a little bit of a safer play, but I like what you're thinking there, Jeremy. Maybe we Pokestop for the catcher.
Listen, I love going all in, you know. Let's get that Forest Sealstone, use that Star Alchemy.
Jeremy, it's more exciting to get the Pokestop.
Look, the Pokemon Catcher's on the bottom of that. It's just saying, take me.
He's going to take it. I respect Evan. Here we go. He can't possibly flip tails twice in the row, right, Jeremy?
Billy's got to do it, you know.
Here we go. Oh, I'm excited. I would have loved maybe the Pokestop.
Just flip it over. Just flip it over.
You use the Pokestop to draw into the Pokemon Catcher.
Big Pokemon Catcher. Off the table. It's a Tails.
It's a Tails.
Joe pops off.
Ooh, Joe breathing a sigh of relief there.
And this is worst case scenario for Evan now because he does not have the knockout without Frenzied Gouging.
You're going to have to do what you have to do. Again, would have loved to see the Pokestop. It's a safer play, and you can still draw into the Pokemon Catcher.
I guess you just Calamity Storm and put 100 damage on that Radiant Charizard? No. Oh, why is that? Yeah. Joe's just like, what am I doing?
100 damage onto the Charizard. Not the most explosive turn here for Evan.
But the big thing, though, Radiant Charizard in the active spot, very hard to get out of the active spot.
That is true. That is true. It does have 3 retreat. You're going to have to evolve into Charizard EX, put all 3 onto that Radiant Charizard if you're going to want to retreat. So, okay, I see it. I see you, Evan. Let's not take this knockout I mean, does Joe play any
One
way of retreat?
switch.
Okay, there is a way to switch, and there is a way to
this
find it.
Arvin is able to grab it. There's already Rare Candy Charizard in hand for Joe here, and Arvin can grab that switch for Seal Stone and keep things rolling.
But would you do that? Oh, Forest Seal Stone could get you at least another Pokemon, because if you go for the switch here, attack with the Radiant Charizard, you're not taking knockout.
Oh yeah, and you're just getting knocked out right
Yes.
back away. Joe really needs to prioritize a setup here.
As, yes, Arvin is going to be for the Level Ball and the Forest Seal Stone. A little bit of a safer position for sure, as Level Ball is going to be played.
Is he failing the level ball? What's going on here?
Did he fail the Level Ball?
Well, he played it, but then played the Forest Seal Stone.
Oh, there it is. There's the Level
All
Ball.
right.
There we go. And is going to find themselves a Pokemon with 90 HP or less. If I had to guess, maybe a certain favorite starter.
Pidgey? No.
Oh.
Charmander.
Oh, Pidgey would
Oh,
not.
Charmander.
Oh, it is going to be the Charmander. The Pidgey's on there, though.
Yeah,
On the card, yeah.
so we're both right.
Yeah. As we do see the Charmander in play, 2 Charmanders means Pokemon Catcher isn't the most explosive card right now. But my heart was racing, Jeremy. When I saw those 2 catchers, Forest Seal Stone for Pokemon Catcher,
You were about to be like, all right, I'm done. I did my prediction. We're good.
I knew it, but no, sometimes, again, Tails, we'll talk about it again later, as we do see the Charmander evolve into the Charizard using that Rare Candy and accelerating 3 energy cards, Infernal Rain, just like that. But I think
It is very important that Joe grabbed that specific Charmander because it has an attack, 1 fire for 30 damage, which is enough to take a knockout on a Roaring Moon that just used a Frenzied Gouging. So I think with Joe getting the switch here, is going to switch to
would you do it?
Rotom, maybe? Like play it a little slow?
We'll have to see, as the
Because
Lost Vacuum, actually very important card. What do you get rid of?
Oh,
The
the
fo- oh no,
Arvin.
it has to be the jelly, because the Seal
Yeah.
Stone has been used for the Pokemon Catcher. But yes, the getting rid of the jelly means that little Charmander is so intimidating.
All right, and with this attack now, Joe's going to make it so if Evan does use Frenzied Gouging, it's just going to get knocked right back out. And
Ooh.
with the all-in play that Evan did last turn, this hand's a little weak here.
They do have the Judge, so there is a way to sort of refill the hand. They have that energy attachment as well, so they're just one means of energy acceleration away from really attacking with the Roaring Moon again. Or, you know what? You can just attack with the Roaring Moon with damage. Worst case scenario, why not? If we're going to get knocked out by a Charmander anyway, why not just attack with the Roaring Moon? Maybe promotes, like, more Peko, for example, is a possibility. But you definitely don't want to give your opponent 2 prizes for free.
This Mew EX with its restart ability has been very good for Evan here in this game too, drawing upwards to 5 cards now.
Ooh, there's the energy switch. Is going to be able to move the energy from the damaged Roaring Moon onto the fresh Roaring Moon, or it could be the Galarian Moltres as well. I think, yeah, I prefer the Galarian Moltres. Still threaten attacks with that Roaring Moon there, as we're just going to see the retreat into the Moon. Would love, again, we did lose the emergency jelly, but we do play 1 ancient booster energy capsule. That's something a little bit hard to find. Oh, but we're just going to go ahead and Frenzied Gouging.
Yeah, saving the Judge in hand, kind of sensing a little bit of weakness from Joe's hand, even though he did get rid of an Arvin.
Ooh, maybe very heads-up play here for Evan, as... Oh, but there is a Luminion. There's a Luminion. There's a way. Luminion, again, able to find any supporter card from the deck there. Luminous Sign is going to disrupt themselves. Going to go ahead and use this Iono, be able to refresh the hand, draw 6, while Evan only draws 4. But again, with that Mew EX sitting pretty, should be able to draw at least a couple of resources. As, again, here, let's see what else Joe has in store. If they draw into the Charizard EX, Charizard Candy, we go for it, right?
No.
We don't?
No, we take the knockout with Charmander and
set up a second Charmander.
And set up a second Charmander. This is exactly what Joe's trying to do here. And, okay, we do see a couple Ultra Ball. He's going to have to get rid of some resources in the hand to be able to get that basic Pokemon down. But at least you have it, and then already having the knockout with the active. This is as good of a position Joe can be in considering the start he had.
No, definitely, definitely. Something Joe, again, is playing Charizard EX with Pidgeot. We haven't seen a Pidgeot either game. And again, that's a very important card, being able to find anything you want from the deck. But yeah, again, without it, Joe's really been having to depend on the minions or the Rotoms to be able to refill the hand, as we do see the Ultra Ball should be able to find another Charmander there, just like you said. And yeah, how's next turn looking for Joe? I didn't quite get to see the hand.
We'll get there when we get there, Wancho.
Well, they're taking 2 extra prizes.
Yeah.
That's 2 extra cards to work with.
And plus, there's a judge there's not a judge in Evan's hand anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I got Iona to the bottom. So there is that knockout with Charmander.
And I believe it's 30 damage and does 20
10
damage?
to itself.
10 to itself. And just like that, little Charmander takes out the ancient Salamence, essentially.
Good old heat tackle.
Oh, another Pokemon catcher.
All right, this one could be pretty.
It's heads.
Here. All right.
What do we go for, though? Do we go for a 2-prizer?
I think we go for. Just trying to finish things off. 2 prizes, 2 prizes. It seems like
if we set up 2 Roaring Moon by taking this knockout here with something like
Galarian Moltres can take a knockout if you have that available. It's going to require maybe a Dark Patch.
Or maybe just getting a Stadium in play.
Yeah.
To be able to use the other attack of the Roaring Moon. Let's see here. Big 7 cards. Professor's Research. There's the Pokestop. I think that's exactly what Evan needed at the very least.
Yeah, has the Sadas in hand for next turn. But at least with the Pokestop, you can use it, try to dig for Dark Patch. And then, if anything, you already have the knockout with that Calamity Storm from the Roaring Moon that's heavily damaged.
Looks like they had 2 different stadiums there, but opting for the Pokestop.
Oh, that is nothing.
At least you still have the stadium. That's why we played. As we do get another attachment onto that Roaring Moon and the Dire Flame Wings as well here. And yeah, just like that. Again, Pokemon Catcher could be the difference between winning and losing a game. And that one heads giving Evan 2 more prizes, staying in that even prize race. It's going to be that knockout. Luckily, Joe does have the Radiant Charizard. That's just never been knocked out.
Yeah.
To be able to take this prize.
This Radiant Charizard's now able to attack with just the basic fire on it. So Joe has the Combustion Blast ready to take the knockout, go down to 2 prizes himself. But the thing is, that Lumineon is just sitting on the bench waiting to be boss's orders from Evan, which honestly, just a single Dark Energy boss's orders would be able to clean things up with that Galarian Moltres V.
And again, Evan has it in hand. Evan plays 3 Pokemon catchers. All 3 has been used, so it's just that one lone boss's orders right now. And with that Arven played, means no means of disruption now from from Joe's side of the field. They have to find something like a collapsed stadium to try and get the Luminion out of play. And they only play 1. I don't think I saw it in the hand.
Yeah, not only that, you need to get 2 more bench Pokemon that are not Pokemon V.
Yeah, sometimes the one card from Arven just isn't quite enough. And that's the downside, again, of not having access to your Pidgeot. You don't really get access to your tech cards. That's why you sometimes have lower counts of these stadiums. You have 1 Lost City, 1 Collapsed Stadium, so you can find it when you need it. And not to mention all the other things Pidgeot can find for you to be able to set up the game, as we just do see the Rare Candy into the Charizard EX.
Is there, 1 Fire Energy left in the deck?
Well,
yeah.
1 is just enough to really technically close out this game. But again, we do know what's in Evan's hand. It's just a matter of playing it. And just like that, didn't we say Charizard had a better matchup into Roaring Moon?
Yeah. Usually when you start with an Arven Battle VIP Pass, it's pretty rough, especially if you get that Pidgeot in play. But wow, okay, Dark Patch just seals things up for Evan here. Dark Patch along with that Dire Flame Wings from Galarian Moltres V. 3 energy, boss's orders, bring up Lumineon V, and just like that, Evan Campbell 2-0 against Joe Turrentine here in round 4.
Whew, what a match, Jeremy. And I just have to say, all it takes is 1